wanted to try and film a video outside, but don't know how well that's gonna work because it is so freaking humid here that my screen just keeps fogging up. I just filmed my 15-week bump date. I've been very bad at keeping up with it, so I film it like a couple days late, like every time. And I had to delete a bunch of footage from the beginning because I couldn't decide how I wanted to do it. Like, my original plan I had was really cute, and I wanted to have like the fruit comparison for each week. Like, you know, when you're pregnant and your little app has, oh, you're this many weeks, baby's the size of like this fruit, this whatever. I wanted to have the actual fruit, and I did it with like the first 2 weeks right after I found out. And then the move and us getting sick and me being nauseous and everything got so crazy that I couldn't keep up with making sure I had the fruit every week. And so I stopped doing it, and now it just feels so boring and like plain. I really wish that I would have been able to keep up with the fruit thing, but I feel like it's too late to start now because I haven't been doing it this whole time, and I find it weird to just pick it up in the middle because I'm really crazy about things being the same and being uniform all the time. My camera's actually staying clear right now, but when I first came outside, literally I kept wiping it off, and 2 seconds later it would be completely foggy again. I don't know where to film because there's nowhere to put my camera either. So yeah, I wanted to film, I'm out of breath now. I wanted to film a pregnancy update, or I said I was gonna film a pregnancy update. It's currently Saturday. My weeks turn over on Mondays, right? Or is it Tuesdays? I don't even know right now. I think it's Mondays, but let me look. I don't know why I just had like a brain fart, because I've known this whole time. Tuesdays. It's Tuesdays. I've known this whole time, and then when I sit down to film. Yeah, my weeks switch over on Tuesdays, so on this upcoming Tuesday I'll be 16 weeks. How? I don't know. Anyways, I bought this random little journal notebook that I've been using as a pregnancy journal, and so I just like write in here. This page says the day I found out, which was April 19th, my due date. I wrote down December 27th, 2022, and then first ultrasound, which I never actually got the chance to go in and write that, but my first ultrasound was on May 3rd when I was 6 weeks exactly. So this was just like a few like main happenings page, and then like I have where I wrote each week out, so 4 weeks, and then I wrote my symptoms out. So I'm just gonna go through and read what I wrote. So 4 weeks, I found out like a few days before 4 weeks, I think, or right at 4 weeks. Not right at, but like I was either almost 4 weeks or I was already 4 weeks in a few days, something, I don't know. So I wrote down shortness of breath, which I still have. Don't know why, because usually that's something that comes later on when your organs are being super squished, not when the baby's like super teeny tiny, not even like visible. Heartburn, which I never got heartburn with London, and I only got heartburn in the 3rd trimester with Ashlyn, so that was a weird symptom to see so soon. And that one has stuck so far throughout the whole 1st trimester, and still, well, actually I wouldn't say so much as heartburn. Like, I get heartburn here and there with certain foods. It's more so acid reflux, I think, that I get almost every time I eat. And then exhausted. I took a lot of naps when I first found out. Well, not like a lot, but like I had like a nap a day, which I don't usually nap anymore. And then week 5, shortness of breath again. I wrote fatigue, same as exhaustion. I'm just so tired all the time. Very emotional, crying over literally nothing. Like, I couldn't tell you how many like different random TikToks I would cry over. or random shows and movies that I would cry over. And it wasn't even, like, it's not like it was actually something sad. It was just, if it was emotional in any way, even if it was like a good emotional, it made me cry. It's kind of like the same thing as like crying over like soldier homecoming videos. Like crying, like those are happy emotions that make you cry, but it was like even more random stuff than just like a soldier coming home or like a dog being reunited. Heartburn again, and then acne. I broke out pretty bad with first trimester. It's finally started to clear up the last couple of weeks, but yeah, acne was pretty bad the first few weeks, which I had the same problem with London. My skin broke out so bad when I first found out I was pregnant with London. 6 weeks, that's when my first ultrasound was. Symptoms, extreme nausea, aversions. It's not so much that like a food item just doesn't sound good to me. It's more so like you sit there and you think, okay, I'm nauseous, there's a high chance that I'm gonna throw up. Is this a food that I'm okay with throwing up? And most of the times the answer is no. I don't want to throw up anything with a weird texture, like rice is horrible. I don't want to throw up anything dairy because then it tastes curdled. So yeah, that like limits you a lot on what you can eat. This is gonna sound so weird, but when I first started throwing up, I at first assumed it was pregnancy symptoms hitting me because I was the only one throwing up at first, but then both kids threw up and then Christopher started throwing up too. So that's when we figured out it was more of a stomach bug and not just me being pregnant and having morning sickness. But I made this whole meal and it was like it was kebabs, and mine was just potatoes, shrimp, and steak. And I ended up throwing it up with sour cream. And it was disgusting. It was so gross. And like I could barely eat. We didn't really have any food because we were in the middle of moving, so we had like no groceries anyways. And anything we did have in the house, I was like, absolutely not, don't want that. I snacked on marshmallows, like little mini marshmallows for a minute because I was so hungry. And I was like, maybe mini marshmallows will do it. So I ate those. I ended up throwing them up, but throwing up marshmallows is not that bad. I forgot to do it at the beginning, but I'm gonna put a forewarning in now. Some things are gonna sound very gross. They're gonna sound very TMI, but pregnancy is just that. Sometimes it's very gross. Like it's this beautiful, amazing thing, but it also can be very gross. And if that's not something you're interested in hearing about, feel free to not watch any pregnancy update videos because I'm sure everyone is going to have some TMI information in it. I don't mind sharing because I feel like it's nice to know, like if you've never had a kid before, if you're trying to have a kid, if you just found out you're having a kid, I feel like it's nice to hear what types of things you might experience and like what is normal for pregnancy, because a lot of times people give you this fake impression of pregnancy and it's just so awesome, it's so great, it's beautiful. That's not the case. Like yes, there's some great parts to pregnancy, but there's also some really horrible parts of pregnancy. So I didn't film my pregnancy like at all with London, and it is one of my biggest regrets to this day that I didn't film during my pregnancy. Like I have no video footage of me finding out I was pregnant with her. I don't have any video footage from her birth, and it tears me up inside. Ashlyn, I filmed basically everything, and one of my favorite things ever is the fact that I can go back and watch Ashlyn's birth vlog, and I will never make that mistake again of not documenting my pregnancy and my birth. I just love it personally. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to put that forewarning in there. Back to this. Where was I at? Aversions, yes. Shortness of breath still. Acne still. Very emotional and sensitive. Cried all the time. Heartburn and fatigue. And then I wrote down at the bottom, I'm not sure why I did this, I put nausea. I think I meant to put like throwing up because I had nausea for a while, but it wasn't like it was a while more until it turned into actual throwing up. Like at first it was just you felt nauseous, and then it's turned into you threw up occasionally. But then I put in quotation marks stomach bug, and that was a really hard time for me because we were in the middle of the move and like I couldn't go live because I felt so horrible and I didn't want it to be out because the pregnancy was still a secret. The pregnancy was a secret until I was like 12 weeks along because it took that long to get everything situated and to get around to telling all of our family in person. So I didn't plan on keeping the pregnancy a secret that long, but like I said, we were in the middle of a move from Ohio to South Carolina. A lot of stuff was going on. It was very hard to meet up with different family members to tell them before we went public online because there were certain people that obviously we wanted to tell first and in person. And it just took way longer than anticipated to do that. And also filming the intro, I wanted to get that done beforehand. So it was very hard for me to explain, like, we're in the middle of this move. We are so sick and it is so horrible without being like, by the way, I'm pregnant, you know? Okay, so yeah, my SD card's like full and I don't feel like going and finding a different one right now. So I'm just gonna switch to my phone so I can get this over with because it's hot out here. So 7 weeks, we had the second ultrasound because we went for the first one, saw the baby, we saw the heartbeat, but you couldn't hear it yet because it was too small, and the ultrasound place that we went to had a policy where they're like, hey, if you can't hear the heartbeat when you come, we'll give you a free ultrasound for you to come back and try again. So we went back again at 7 weeks, got the second one where we were able to hear the heartbeat for the first time. Symptoms, I wrote down headaches, a lot of crying, really bad nausea, no sex drive, which has been a huge symptom basically this whole time, food aversions, heartburn. I've had heartburn pretty much the whole time, but like I said, it might be more so on the acid reflux side because it's more like it just feels like my food sits in my throat and like my throat burns. It's not so much my chest. Exhaustion, and I started to get lightheaded a lot. I wasn't very thorough with this because honestly I kept forgetting to write in here. Like week 8, literally I only wrote down nausea, aversions, and acne. I had acne basically the whole first trimester. I had nausea basically the whole first trimester. It just now started to improve like the past 2 weeks. And aversions still, like it went on the whole first trimester. I can't eat so many foods that I usually love. Like I love steak. Haven't been able to enjoy it. Sour cream doesn't taste right to me lately. And I can't eat McDonald's. I can't eat... I've tried Taco Bell and it's been iffy. With London and Ashland, Taco Bell was an absolute no-go for me during pregnancy. But it's been mostly no, but maybe yes sometimes. But I've only actually had it like twice. So I can't do McDonald's and I can't do Taco Bell. And like, that's the main... Christopher just texted me to make him Hot Pockets. That's the main 2 fast food restaurants that I would eat. Like I don't like Burger King, I don't like Wendy's, but living in South Carolina, it's better because like that was in Ohio and South Carolina, we have Sonic and Burger King, and those Burger King, I've been obsessed with Burger King this pregnancy. Like that's one of the only foods that I could stomach for weeks. Sonic, it's getting better now, but I haven't really been able to eat ice cream this whole time, so like getting a milkshake wasn't the best. I got my mozzarella sticks like the first time since we got back in South Carolina, whenever I was around 8 weeks along, I think, and I threw those up, and throwing up mozzarella sticks is one of the worst things I've ever thrown up before. Like I have a list of things that I've thrown up in my life and what has been the worst, and mozzarella sticks was definitely on there. I was like, once again, this is so gross, and if you don't like hearing about this stuff, skip, but I was like choking on chunks of cheese trying to throw them up, and they were getting stuck in my throat. I literally feel like I'm gonna gag just thinking about it. But it's like the cheese was so thick, it was getting stuck in my throat. Okay, I gotta stop talking about it because I'm making myself sick, but it was horrible. And then the second time I tried it again to get mozzarella sticks, and they gave me a weird feeling like I might puke at any moment. I didn't puke, but they did make me feel pretty bad. And then I got them again a few weeks later, and it was okay. So Sonic, I think, is getting better for me. Bojangles has been my obsession, and then Subway has also been one, because I've been preferring cold foods over warm foods. Like warm foods make me feel worse, so like a sub, cereal basically has been the only things that I've been able to eat for a while. It's improving a little bit now. Week 9, nausea, insomnia. Yeah, insomnia hit me hard. Acne, I was crampy, and then restless arms and legs. So those two, the restless arms and legs, played in with the insomnia. There was like a month-long period where I literally would lay in bed for hours. Like, I'd be in bed by 9 o'clock at night and literally would just be laying there and could not fall asleep until 2, 3 in the morning. Once I was asleep, it was okay, and I would sleep through the rest of the night, but then I was waking up really late, like 12 o'clock, because I was awake so long. But it took so long for me to be able to fall asleep, and it was horrible. And the restless arms and legs played into that a lot, where like it made it even worse, where I couldn't fall asleep. And like literally one night I was in bed, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like crying, sitting there like shaking my arms, shaking my legs, like they hurt because of the restless arms and legs thing. Like, it's hard to explain to someone that doesn't know what it is, but if you know what it is, you know how horrible it is. Like, I used to get it in my legs a lot whenever I was pregnant with Ashlyn, I think, but I had almost never had it in my arms as well, but I had it in my legs and in my arms, and it was torture. And it's impossible. Like, you can't make it go away. Like, you just have to wait it out. But literally, I was in tears, jerking my body around in bed, like, I can't take this. It needs to go away. I can't sleep. I just want to sleep. I was really worked up. Week 10, nausea, can't brush teeth. That was a symptom basically the whole time. Very, very gross and bad of me. But honestly, I've been brushing my teeth maybe once or twice a week. Absolutely horrible. Probably gonna have some issues with my teeth because of it. But I physically could not brush my teeth without throwing up and then being 10 times more nauseous the entire day. And it just wasn't worth it to me. So I just would not brush my teeth unless I absolutely had to, meaning like we were going somewhere and my teeth needed to be brushed. But, you know, basically we were home all day, every day for a while. So I didn't care. It's getting better now where I can brush my teeth without throwing up. Like, I was literally throwing up every single time I brushed my teeth. But the problem that started is because I wasn't brushing my teeth as often, my gums got really, really sensitive. So now every single time I brush my teeth, so much blood. Like, I'm talking so much blood. I'm spitting pure blood. My mouth is straight red. My toothbrush is straight red. And I have to brush my teeth like 2 to 3 times. And every single time it's like that. And my teeth are really sore afterward, or my gums are really sore afterwards. So, aversions still. Horrible insomnia, and then constipation, which, yeah, constipation has lasted like the whole first trimester, and it's still carrying out now. And I think a lot of it has to do with, like, before I got pregnant, I was somewhat regular, but it was only because I was drinking coffee. Coffee always made me poop. But one of my biggest aversions this pregnancy has been coffee. I can't drink coffee. I have zero interest in it. It sounds gross to me. I've tried drinking it like twice, and it made me feel really bad, and I didn't enjoy it, and I was just like, yep, can't drink coffee. I was tempted to try today to see if I could drink coffee again, but I didn't feel like it, and I was like, it still doesn't sound good to me, so I'm gonna go with no. So the fact that I'm not drinking coffee has like made it to where I haven't been able to regulate myself, so I've been very constipated. Week 11, we're almost there. Nausea, insomnia, aversions, constipation, and acid reflux. I feel like I probably should have been putting acid reflux the whole time. I feel like it wasn't ever true heartburn. It was always acid reflux. But I get the two confused because I've barely ever had any experience with it. Like, the only time I ever had experience with heartburn / acid reflux was the end of my pregnancy with Ashlyn. But any other time, I had never dealt with it. Like, Christopher, he gets heartburn all the time. Like, he eats Tums like it's candy. I never dealt with that, so I don't really know what the difference between the two is. But like I said, it's more in my throat than in my chest. And it's like the best way that I can describe it, it's like your stomach's down here, right? And when you feel full, it's like you feel full in your stomach. But when I feel full, it's like my stomach stretches all the way up, and then like the food that I ate just sits at the top, and I can feel it in my throat. It's really weird. I don't know. Week 12, nausea, constipation, headaches, and aversions. So yeah, my nausea, basically like the whole first trimester I had all day, every day nausea. Could barely eat. It was horrible. But as I got closer to the second trimester, and now that I am in the second trimester, the nausea isn't as often. It's more like here and there if I do certain things, or like if I don't eat for a while, or if I'm like really tired or something, or if I eat something gross. But I've basically swapped the constant nausea for constant headaches, so that's fun. And then still food aversions. Week 13, I wrote down taste buds, and that's the thing. Of like, everyone says you get such bad food aversions with pregnancy, and like I get it, but more specifically, it's like at first it's not so much a food aversion, like oh my god that sounds disgusting. It's just like oh my god, throwing that up sounds absolutely horrible, I don't want to eat that. Is more so what it is. I still do get that thing where I think about food and I'm like, that just doesn't sound good, that just doesn't sound good, that just doesn't sound good. And like the thought of certain foods makes me nauseous. Like the thought of eating McDonald's makes me nauseous, but only their lunch. I could do McDonald's breakfast, but I'm never awake early, so I don't ever get it. I got it like one time when we were at the beach. Sorry, it's so freaking hot and now my nose is driving me insane. But now it's more so food just doesn't taste right. Like pregnancy has completely altered my taste buds, and a lot of my favorite foods don't taste the same anymore. Steak tastes weird, sour cream tastes weird, pizza rolls taste weird. Like I have a lot of safe foods right now, and a lot of other foods just don't taste right to me. Like a lot of my favorite foods don't taste right, and then I don't want them because then I'm like, ew, this tastes kind of gross and it makes me feel sick. But it's like any other time I would love it. Like my taste buds have completely changed, and I hate it. Nausea, still headaches, and then exhaustion. I'm still tired all the time. Like week 13 is, right? It's week 13 or 14. I can never remember, but one of those is like the second trimester. And you know, usually everyone says that in your second trimester you get bursts of energy. Like the first trimester you're nauseous, you're tired, you're like just straight up exhausted, and usually the second trimester you're more energetic and better, and then the third trimester you're big and miserable and tired again. But so far I have not gotten any second trimester energy, and I feel like a lot of it probably also has to do with my depression right now, because depression makes you very tired. So I feel like my body is like, pregnancy symptoms are battling constantly with depression and anxiety symptoms, and it's just one big mess in my head and in my body. 14, nausea eases. I wrote down lost weight. So basically like throughout this pregnancy, because I was so nauseous and unable to eat, I've only lost weight. Like I started out, I think I started at 170, and last time I weighed myself I was 163. I mean, I literally like wished that. I told Christopher, like, I hope I'm so nauseous and throwing up the whole time that I just lose weight, because I can't imagine gaining any more weight than I already have. Because I never lost the baby weight from Ashlyn, and like now I just feel really huge and gross, and like the biggest I've ever been. So I'm just like, I can't imagine going through a whole nother pregnancy and getting even bigger, and then most likely also not losing that weight afterwards. So I was like, I hope I'm constantly puking and can't eat to the point that I don't gain 50 pounds this pregnancy. I was probably stupid of me to say, but now that I'm in the second trimester and I'm able to eat a little bit more and the nausea's better, I imagine now is going to be the time where I gain that back and then some. which that's how it was whenever I was pregnant with London. I was so sick. The first trimester with London, I lost like 10-15 pounds, and then I gained the 10 to 15 back and then an extra 10. So I didn't actually gain all that much with London. And I didn't necessarily think so, but I did lose a lot of the baby weight after her. But I never did get back to my pre-pregnancy weight with London. But before London, I was really small. So like, I never ever thought I was small, but when I got pregnant with London, I was like 110, 115. Like, all through high school, I was between 100 and 115. And then after Ashlyn, after London, I think I was like 130, which was fine. Like, I should have been fine with it, but at the time I wasn't. I hated how I looked. And then with Ashlyn, I gained a lot of weight and then didn't lose the weight. So I was like, why were you so upset then? Look at you now. Headaches, like I said, swapped nausea for headaches. Exhaustion still. Body soreness. Like, I feel like I'll get like muscle aches and body aches as if I did like a full body workout, but I've done like next to nothing. So, and then I wrote taste buds again. And then now I'm 15 weeks. I didn't write anything down yet. This is what I mean. Like, I forget to write it down, and then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, I need to write that down. And then I'm like trying to think and be like, okay, what was I feeling that week? So 15 weeks, basically now it's like mostly the same. Food doesn't taste good. Food doesn't taste right. Headaches haven't been as bad this week. The acid reflux is still there. The exhaustion is still there. My insomnia has improved. I've usually been able to fall asleep by like midnight. I do get really like lightheaded and dizzy easily. Like, I almost passed out in Subway a couple weeks ago. And I do feel like I'm gonna pass out a lot of the times lately. I can't stand for long periods of time. I can't be in the heat for a long time. There's a wasp. Basically, that's how things are right now. So that's all I have to update on this pregnancy up until now. Like, the whole first trimester. Now I'm like a week or two into the second trimester. But I'm not sure how often I want to film these videos as far as like right now. I'll probably only film them maybe like monthly until I get like into the third trimester. Then I might do them more often, which I think that's basically how I did it with Ashlyn. Like, I did them monthly, and then once I hit like 35-ish weeks, I think I did them like bi-weekly or weekly or something like that up until the end. So it'll probably be similar to that. But yeah, basically that's what's been going on this pregnancy. I have nothing else to say. I'm gonna go make Hot Pockets for Christopher now and probably eat a popsicle.